News from the PGA Tour Champions is last week they released their 2021 schedule. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. They're combining it with the 2020 season. Due to the impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic, 25 events will be played across 19 U.S. states, England and Canada. A couple of new tournaments on this schedule: the Ascension Charity Classic and the Constellation Furyk and Friends. The wraparound season will conclude with the Charles Schwab Cup Championship. That takes place November 11th through the 14th. Earlier today, Jim Furyk spoke to Tom Abbott on Morning Drive about his new event.
Well, it was a bit of the brainstorm of my wife and I. Tabitha's run the Constellation Furyk Friends. We have a charity golf tournament and concert. We've done it for 10 years now. It's kind of a two-day event. And we wanted to try to look at avenues. How can we grow? How can we get bigger? How can we impact Northeast Florida, the city of Jacksonville, more charitably? And this was a brainstorm. The PGA Tour supported us. PGA Tour Champions supported us. First and foremost, you got to find a wonderful sponsor, and Constellation Energy, a longtime partner of mine, stepped up and they wanted to help us build this event, and so excited about that. Second, we got a great venue in Timuquana Country Club. It's a great old Donald Ross golf course. We really want to showcase our city, the St. Johns River, the city of Jacksonville. We should have a huge economic impact in the area. Most of the players that will be playing this event, they're going to love the golf course, but they haven't really seen the city of Jacksonville. And we've had such a huge support from our community, both in Jacksonville, the Ponte Vedra areas. We're so fortunate, and we just think we can do so much great charitable work. So it's been kind of a labor of love, and I'm very proud of Tabitha and our team for all the work they've put in, and we're ready. I mean, this golf tournament's about having fun, and we want the folks in this area, even in the state of Florida and around, to come see it. We're going to have music. We're going to have great food. There's going to be some drinks around, and of course, there's going to be some unbelievable golf. The best golfers, 50 years and older. So I'm looking forward to it. You can tell how excited I am, and I'm proud of our team. And October can't roll around fast enough for me.
The 2021 season begins the third week in January with the Mitsubishi Electric Championship at Hawaii. Joined now by the president of the PGA Tour Champions, Miller Brady. Miller, always good to catch up. We appreciate you joining us. And before we look ahead, let's go back and sort of assess 2020 and how it played out for you, considering all the obstacles you had to deal with and contend with.
Yeah, sure, Steve. Thank you for having me on. What a great interview that Jim did this morning. He's been such a great ambassador for us in his rookie season. But when you look at this past year, it was a tremendous year for us despite the pandemic and everything that we went through. We had 5 events before we had to shut down for a period of time. But really, because of our players, our tournaments, and our title sponsors, we were able to make through it. They were fantastic. Their dedication to our tour really makes it all possible. But for us, it was a year of the rookies. And you just mentioned our event in Hawaii this past year. It started there, where Ernie Els actually lost in a playoff to Jimenez and Fred Couples. Jimenez went on to win that event. Shortly after, I think a couple weeks later, Ernie Els wins his first event as a rookie. And then our first event back from the pandemic at the Ally Challenge is where Jim Furyk won in his debut at Warwick Hills. Fantastic golf course for us. He turns around and wins again out at Pebble Beach, the Pure Insurance Championship. So our rookies were off to a great start. And then Phil Mickelson comes out and he wins his first 2 events on our tour. So when you combine Ernie Els and Jim Furyk and Phil Mickelson, what such a great rookie class. And then we had, of course, Bernhard Langer win. Darren Clark won right at the end of the season. So for us, we wish we could start next week. Jim Furyk talked about he's ready for October. I'm ready for, our 2021 season to start, and it can't happen fast enough for us.
Yeah, I think we're all certainly looking forward to the start of it. When you combine the 2 seasons, 2020 and 2021, why was that the right way to go for you?
Well, when we made the decision to combine, we were still uncertain as to how many events we were going to be able to play. And with that as the precursor, and talking with our partners, talking with Charles Schwab, who was our umbrella partner, it was just the right thing to do. Now, with that were additional challenges. We worked with our players, our player advisory council, in order to roll over the season, roll over the events, roll over the playoffs into next year. But we also had to roll over all the eligibility for our players. And it was a collaborative effort that ultimately came together and worked out great.
With the release of the 2021 schedule, that is, what stands out to you? You've already alluded to how excited you are for next year, but what really jumps off the page for you?
Well, really what jumps out is from start to finish how strong our tournaments are. We don't have events that seem to struggle any longer. They're really, really top-notch tournaments. As you guys mentioned earlier, we have 2 new events next year, the Ascension Charity Classic in St. Louis, and then the Constellation Furyk and Friends. You can see Jim's enthusiasm for that event. He and Tabitha are working tirelessly on that event already. They're off to a great start. So we have 2 brand new tournaments for us next year to really come together prior to our playoff push.
What was the communication process like with the players and your members throughout this whole process of 2020, and how did they react to everything?
Well, I got to tell you, we had numerous, it felt like it was almost every single week, conference calls with our player advisory council. And it was open discussions, open dialogue about what's transpiring during the pandemic. How do we move forward, and when are we going to move forward? And I give kudos to our members, our players, our caddies, for really adhering to the safety protocols that we put in place. Because if it weren't for that, there's no way we could play. We couldn't have gotten our title sponsors comfortable with it. We couldn't have gotten the tournaments comfortable with it, or the local health officials comfortable. So, our players were able to do the right thing, and we were able to play our events through Phoenix Country Club at the end of the year.
Miller, before I let you go, one thing that maybe stood out from 2020, it was a challenge for everyone all around the globe, but what is something maybe you have learned from this past year that might influence schedules moving forward beyond 2021?
Well, I think we've all learned a lot this year. I've learned how passionate our sponsors and our players are for this tour. But I've also learned that you have to take a deep breath from time to time and roll with the punches, because what we think is going to happen today is going to change tomorrow, and it's okay. We just have to be very flexible.
Well, Miller, you guys have done an amazing job. We're excited to get 2021 rolling along in Hawaii. That's just about 6 or 7 weeks from now. All the best on the upcoming season. We look forward to having you back on soon.
Great. Thank you, Steve, so much.
There has been a lot of discussion about the potential of a European Tour, PGA Tour merger of some type down the road. Would you be supportive of that?
I would be. I've sort of been calling for it for a while. I would like to see that. I think for the health of both tours, a world tour is something I've always wanted, but it had to be done the right way. I think the PGL coming in and trying to do it their way wasn't the right thing. So, trying to make change from within the game already and not letting an outsider come in, I think is the right way to do it. So, I'd be supportive of that for sure.
That was Rory McIlroy back in June offering his thoughts on the possibility of a partnership between the PGA Tour and European Tour. Well, over the weekend, the PGA Tour and European Tour announced a new strategic alliance which will explore all facets of collaboration, including strategic commercial opportunities on global media rights and even global scheduling and playing opportunities. As part of the agreement, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan will join the European Tour Board, in addition to the PGA Tour purchasing a minority stake in the European Tour's media production company. Thoughts now from Keith Pelley, CEO of the European Tour, on this new partnership.
Well, I think it is a great day for global golf. I think it's a super day for the European Tour and the PGA Tour as we now make a significant move from being competitors to being partners, and partners in terms of growth and collaboration in globalizing our game even more than it is now. And this is something that we've talked about. Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, and I have talked about this for about 4.5 years. And this is now a moment in time. We came and became a lot closer during COVID-19. We started to share best practices and resources, and our respective chief medical officers were talking with each other. So COVID has provided many, many challenges, but some opportunities as well. And one of the opportunities was to understand how important it was and how the opportunities that existed if we worked closer together, and how that would be better for our respective tours, the membership, and of course, the consumers as well.
Phenomenon as well. The Premier Golf League has been rumbled about for about a year. Is this an attempt, if there was ever an idea being crystallized, to drag players away from the two tours, to kind of hand that off and to focus the strength on the two tours?
Charles, Rain and the PGL made us a very compelling offer. And we have had discussions with Rain, significant discussions with Rain Capital over the past couple of months. There is no question that I have a tremendous amount of respect for Rain Capital and Colin Neville, who was leading the project from Rain. But at the end of the day, the board made the decision that, and it was the right decision for our membership, that the creation of a partnership with the PGA Tour was the best route for growth for our respective memberships and global golf.
Tripp is back, and some really big news the day after Thanksgiving. What's your reaction to this new alliance and partnership?
It was a Black Friday sale, right? Yeah, that's what happened the Friday after Thanksgiving. But look, this is a different age in the game of global golf. This is different from back when the European Tour tried to keep Seve and Nick Faldo and Bernhard Langer and Colin McGovern, didn't want them playing in the United States. The European Tour players, they play over in the United States predominantly. I think it's a realization, look, let's get together as a player. The way I look at this, Steve, is more of the scheduling. And what will happen is the premier events on the European Tour will stand out, and there might be some more migration of world events maybe to some of those events. I don't know. That's my speculation. But I think it will be more the scheduling to allow more of the European Tour players freedom to play more easily in the United States. It's not necessarily the United States players. They like to stay in the United States. They don't necessarily want to play too much European Tour, even though there are players that do. So I think it's more that effort, and I think it's a good move by the European Tour. Just say, look, we're not able to compete completely with the PGA Tour, and the main thing to do is keep most of our star players over here that we can, but let things, let's do this together, and I think it's a good thing for golf.